welcome to the second episode of the 212 and the 305 podcast.
There you go.
I am here with my new friend from Florida, South Florida, but we're both original New Yorkers, so that's why I invited him on. Rob, please introduce yourself.
What's going on? My name is Rob Diesel. I actually have a company based in New York, which we just moved over to Florida about a year ago.
Nice. So let's start with just a description of your business. I mean, I know what you do, but I'm sure a lot of people don't.
I am your watch guy. I sell watches primarily. I have a jewelry company based in New York, but it moved down to Florida a year ago. Company is called Wrist New York City. We primarily sell watches, Rolexes, Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, Richard Mille.
Nice.
That's it in a nutshell.
And that's what I know about it because you helped me out with a little purchase.
Correct. I mean, we did a purchase with you, a small, nice little one.
I love the service. I love the way you treated the whole thing from the negotiating to the delivery. It was great.
Concierge is probably everything for us.
Right.
Weirdly enough, during COVID, a lot of our clients were bored at home and they were still trying to figure out a way to spend their money.
Right.
And we kind of did a concierge service to focus on their needs. And it worked out perfectly. We do home deliveries, office deliveries, even flown. Weirdly enough, the reason why we moved down to Florida to expand was because 25% of our client base was Miami, South Florida,
Okay.
West Palm Beach area. So I was like, you know what, let's focus on this small percentage of clients we do have and expand it to South Florida.
Nice, love it. So since you started, I know it's not just watches, so we get into the other stuff.
Correct.
A little bit. But
Yeah.
let's start with talk about your favorite couple of brands, couple of pieces. What really appeals to you?
We sell a lot of Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet and Rolexes. Rolexes tend to be we've started this company back in 2015. Rolexes was our first primary focus, and then we saw the market change a little bit more where people wanted to buy more Audemars Piguet and Patek Philippe. Those are the three brands we do specialize in as far as what we do market and focus on, just because it's just what everyone wants in our market. That's where the demand is. Plus, they have the better resale value. They have the if you do buy one, if you a year later you want to, you do need your, to sell it back, you can always sell it back.
Always get your money back.
Correct.
Right.
It's one of those.
Can we talk about what's on your wrist today? Do you mind?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I have Patek Philippe on.
Show it to the camera if you don't mind.
Where's the?
Right.
Right there. Patek Philippe 5167A. It's Aquanaut. It's actually one of their starter pieces in stainless steel. Retails for about $28,000, and on our market it sells for about $60,000.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's increased, and it looks like holding value for. I mean, that's a big increase
for particular pieces like this one. They tend to hold their value. What I did notice a change in the industry in the past year is that obviously the influx of money isn't there as much anymore. But the stainless steel market is still pretty high and steady. It is their entryway. It is the one that's their least expensive in a sense.
Even at the $60K price, it's still entryway or not anymore.
Well, it's tough to say, right? It's their entryway.
Okay.
But it's not everyone's entryway.
Right.
When you do you look at a Rolex Submariner, right? Most people get their first Submariner. The stores sell it for about $10,000, $11,000. On the gray market side, it sells for about $13,500 brand new. Right? Not much of a difference,
right.
But at the end of the day, it's where it holds its value.
Got it. Cool.
Patek Philippe stainless steel, because their supply is pretty low, they have a tendency to to have a higher demand, causing the price of it to go a little bit higher. In this case, you're looking at a pretty much like 100% premium on particular pieces.
So has it? I know it spiked a lot during COVID. Where is it now compared to where it was a couple of years ago?
Stainless steel has pretty much been steady.
Oh, okay.
As far as rose gold, yellow gold, they've actually gone down in price a lot. Which, listen, in any industry, it kind of has to have its plateau, right?
Right.
Where it needs to, it will hit its surge, but then it needs to go down to where it actually should trade at. Where I feel like right now it's a good time to buy, just because 2020, you're looking at it, let's just say 5980, which we'll show the pictures later. 5980 1R was trading for 380 to 400,000. Now they're at 200,000, brand new.
That's also AP?
It's Patek Philippe.
Patek Philippe.
Correct. So, I mean, you're looking at it, right? Fine. It's still at 200, but in reality,
It's still way above what it was bought for originally by most people.
Correct.
Right, got it. Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about the non-watch. Is it more the engagement ring, or what the other stuff, the other aspects of your business?
Okay, so obviously we expanded our business to doing engagement rings about in 2018. I had a business partner who was like, well, listen, if you can get in the industry of selling watches, people are comfortable with your brand. We have a good sales team as well. Let's go into the jewelry business as far as doing engagement rings. Weirdly enough, our first engagement ring we did was a it was a 5.2 carat
Nice.
pearl pear-shaped stone. And the funny story about that, it was actually for a friend. We went out one night. Here's a little story about this, right?
Sure.
So we went out for a year together, one of my closest friends. He was looking for, he was in the middle of a breakup, was looking for the right person to be with. We went through a whole year of going out. One day we went to catch steak.
Catch Steak, New York. Obviously.
Catch Steak, New York.
Yeah.
And on our way home, he goes, he met a girl that night, and he goes, on our way home, he goes, listen, she's the one.
Wow.
I said, are you sure? And he goes, yeah, I think it's time to start doing your, process of doing
the first night he met her.
Correct.
Wow.
First night. He ended up having his first date with her probably 2 months later. A year later, they get engaged. And 2 years later, that they got married, and they have 2 kids, 1 kid together, I believe.
Wow, great story. They still live up in New York?
They still live up in New Jersey and New York. Yeah.
Nice. Right. That's a great
So
story.
I mean, like, it's weird because, like, it's always been my thing to do engagement rings for friends and for clients. It's just, the whole process is pretty intense. Like, you're picking out your stone, from there you pick out what kind of band you want to do, and it becomes more personal.
Right.
So I actually enjoy doing those more than just selling watches, because there's a story behind it. It's not just a stone. It's not just, it's the whole process of, and in this case, it happened to be one of my friends.
Right, that's a great story. I've always been curious. How do people, because usually the guys want to keep it a surprise, right? Most of the time, how do they get the size?
Okay. It's funny because I always feel,
answer, yeah.
right? There's no direct answer to that, right? But I always feel the woman somehow is always involved. They have to be involved.
It can't be a complete surprise.
It can't be a complete surprise.
Okay.
Obviously, when listen, with any gift, there has to be a hint, a few hints, here and there. And I feel like if the men listen as much as they should, they'll end up getting exactly what they want.
Right.
As far as their engagement ring is involved. I just don't see it how it's possible for someone to do it on such a surprise.
Right.
Completely.
Right.
It's just impossible.
Right. Cool. So let's change. Let's talk about why you moved down. How long have you been down here?
We moved down. Actually, I think it's a year and a half now.
Okay. And
it's weird. Time flies.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So around similar timing to me. So as you know, I first started in Las Olas, Fort Lauderdale, loved it there, but then decided to move a little bit south to Miami for several reasons. But tell us how you chose Delray.
Correct.
Tell us your reasons behind that and how it's going so far.
I just felt like, it's weird. I fell in love with Palm Beach County. Just seems a little bit more relaxing. As far as Miami, it tends to be a little bit more busier.
Right.
Listen, we're from New York. I grew up in New Jersey, went to school in Manhattan, stayed there. It's just too congested, right? It was just too many people, high rises, maybe it was just too much. I'm 45 now, kind of needed the change. I saw the demand for my company down here. So I was like, you know what? Let's choose Palm Beach County, Delray. Delray is cool, a little beach town, but it has an affluent little restaurant scene,
Yeah.
which is
I looked at Delray too, by the way.
it's cool. You
It's
listen,
very
you have
cool.
Atlantic Avenue, you have a nice decent crowd that goes there at night, and it's enough to fill your
Right. Right. No.
what you need for as far as like that nightlife and restaurant.
How often do you just see yourself going to either West Palm Beach or Las Olas? Is that common or not really?
Truthfully, West Palm a few nights just to get out of the area,
Okay.
but not really as much unless
Delray does it for you. It has enough.
it has enough.
Most of
It has enough. I mean, you have, even look at some restaurants from New Jersey. They just you have Bounce.
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
Everyone's talking about that. Yeah.
You have Bounce.
Doing pretty well,
They
right?
Just opened up this.
The original was 73rd and 2nd. I used to live right on the corner from it. I remember going when there was one Upper East Side location. Now I guess they've opened and closed, right? They've been around.
Correct. Yeah. And I mean, it's crazy because it's such a New York brand. That's
Right.
another New York brand that
Right.
just moved down.
Yeah.
And people don't see it as far as it's funny. I know we wanted to talk more about Miami, but like I have this.
No, South Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
So it's just Delray is such a cool little town, right? You have Bounce opening up, a few months ago, realizing that there's a market there of New York and New Jersey.
Right.
People are moving. I
Right.
mean, like look at the numbers the past. I mean, you moved, I moved.
No, we're
It's just people want to have a change of scenery, and plus, I think sun is everything. The
overall better quality of life for many reasons.
it's just a little hot.
Right. Oh, yeah, no.
Right now, it's a little hot.
So, yeah,
If you live here, you know that
Yes.
the summers
Second
are
summer for me, I think around here.
second summer for us. Yeah.
To me, I'm getting used. It's the unpredictability of the rain that gets to me a little bit more than the heat. But again, it doesn't last. It usually gone in an hour or two, so it doesn't ruin the whole day. You can plan around it. You have to get used to that. The rain.
I have a tendency my days start at like 4:00 if I'm not in the
Right.
if you think about it, right, because it's just too hot during the day.
Right.
So, if you want to talk about restaurants, let's
get into your favorite places. You mentioned Bounce down in Delray. So why don't you?
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So, like for example, Gabriella's is opening up. It's an Italian steakhouse, which is they have an original location in Red Bank. Gabriella is actually a friend of mine, and she's opening up one in Delray as well. And then there's the
cool.
Left Keys, which is another It's a Mediterranean.
Greek.
Yeah.
Cool.
They have one in Englewood, New Jersey, and they're moving down to Well, they actually just opened about a month ago.
Oh, nice.
They're known
Both
for
in
throwing
Delray.
napkins.
Gabriella's and Lucky's both in Delray.
Both in Delray.
Cool, nice.
They're known for throwing napkins and stuff like
Right.
that.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. A
So-
little bit of a Greek party.
Correct. It's
Cool.
it's fun. People get on tables sometimes, but I don't know if they'll do that in Delray.
Maybe a little more of a chiller vibe.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
I like Casa La Acqua as my favorite Italian restaurant in Delray. I don't know if you've been.
No, I haven't.
It's kind of old school. Really good seafood. It's right off the avenue. Great place.
Okay.
Their food's amazing.
No, I like to do like steak, like we call it maybe a staycation, like spend. And we have to hang out properly up there. Like go up. I've done it in Las Olas a little bit, but go get a hotel room for a night too. And like maybe I'll stay at the Ray next time. I'll go up, get a room at the Ray. We'll hang out.
That's actually the place.
I've eaten at the rooftop there, so like I'm into that. Spending a night or two up north and just like hanging out there for a couple of days.
That was actually the reason why we chose Delray. We originally came here, went to look at Las Olas, looked at rentals in Las Olas in Fort Lauderdale.
Probably close to where I used to
Correct.
be on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then one night we went to Delray. We hung out at the Ray at the rooftop, and it was just a perfect vibe. It was a nice mix of older, affluent people, younger generation.
Right.
It was just a nice mix. So we ended up going and staying there as the focus.
I'm looking forward to hanging out there with you and trying some of these restaurants. Let's do it. Yeah.
Well, let's
we'll definitely do it. Yeah.
There's more. I just Mia is another one, which is actually in Delray, but it's on the west side. Chef Jason's really
West side means away from Atlantic. West side, you mean away from Atlantic Ave?
Correct. Away. So
Got it.
It's in West Delray.
Okay.
The place is called Mia.
Okay.
It's an Italian restaurant. Chef Chef Jason Binder.
Okay.
He's a great guy. He's actually from Brooklyn.
Okay. I was gonna say South New York. Okay.
Yeah, and he, opened up a restaurant in Delray. So it's
All this talk about there's no. I mean, people criticizing the food down here. It's. They used to do this about I think London because my mom grew up in London. Used to go there as a kid. Like now, London, I think has people say it's the best food in the world. Like sooner or later, Miami's gonna have the best food in the world. Right?
London's funny too because they always said they had the worst.
Right. And now I think it's world class restaurants. You can't go wrong there. Yeah.
I mean, we even went to Tampa the other day, and like just the Michelin star restaurants is all over the place.
Really?
In Tampa.
Cool.
We had a client out in Tampa. I actually took the drive. I've never went.
I've done. My cousins live there, and my cousin owns a few Smoothie Kings out there, so I go there a lot. But you got to start in the Alligator Alley.
Okay, so it's weirdly enough during the day, right? We're driving out there. Wasn't that bad, right? You see horses, cows,
right?
Little shops, right? It kind of stuff out of you see it in a movie, right?
Yeah.
And on our last day, we came back. I think it was Sunday night. Might have left a little too late. But it was a one-way. It was a one. You didn't realize you were going on a one-way highway on the way back too. So it was a one-way highway.
Like Google might have taken you not on. I've had that the one-way highway.
It's crazy.
There's options though, but Google probably took you that
literally one way. A trucks would be coming this way, and you feel like God forbid you get a flat tire, and then you're in the middle of a highway.
And I was on one of those things going to Bradenton to pick up my daughter from camp. Same kind of thing. But the problem was it started downpouring like crazy.
Yes, it did that. And then the bugs. I have a white truck, and the bugs the next morning was out of.
Wow. Yeah. So you gotta.
So what is this definition of Alligator Alley?
Alligator Alley is kind of the part closer to. It's basically between my southeast Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Naples. It's going across the state. Because if you're going to Tampa, you can't go diagonally northwest. You got to go across and then up.
Correct.
So to avoid Alligator Alley, you can go up 95 and then across, but that's 50. I think certain amount of miles longer, 50 miles longer to do that. So by cutting Alligator Alley to Naples and then going up, that's the quickest way to do it most of the time.
Is it really alligators?
Yeah. See, that's why there's no stop. That's why there's not a lot of stops. For a while there's not even a gas station or a rest stop for a while because it was swampland and there's alligators and there's these fences and gates and they say try not to stop really because you never know. Although you're usually not going to come onto the road, but
there was no
plan your
lights.
gas and bathroom breaks according to that like hour and a half of like nothing.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly.
So cool. No, it's great to anything. And I guess I've always been in that because I'm doing my research. I looked at Boca, Delray, Las Olas, Miami, and of course now I'm in Miami. But I never got to explore West Palm. Anything really. Any pops out? Any like one or two places really pop out of?
Oh man, I can't remember the name of the restaurant. Bottom
line is they have a nice downtown, cool. Like there is a cool vibe in West Palm, right? Like,
correct.
It has its own little like charm up there.
They have this one hotel called the Ben.
Okay.
And they have a rooftop space. I can't remember the name of it.
It's good to know the Ben Hotel. Cool. I think I've heard about that.
It has kind of the Ray kind of feel to it. Okay. They have a nice Sunday little brunch, and. There's a few other places in West Palm. I just can't think of the names. Cool spots.
Nice. Yeah, good to know. So we'll talk about.
We'll talk about that next. Yeah.
New York, New Jersey favorite spots. You mentioned Catch Steak, which I love too.
It's tough, man, because like weirdly enough, I'm from the hospitality world, right?
Oh, yeah, so, of course. Yes, we talked about that. Yeah.
I tend to support.
Shout out to Spencer Singer,
our mutual friend.
Spencer Singer. We love you, S Dog. I call him S Dog. He's one of my best friends. So.
It's just strange because I tend to have this tendency to support those that support me, right?
Of course.
And when like I was just on the phone with Eugene from Catch.
Really?
Yeah,
I actually want to have him on. That's funny.
Oh yeah,
we should talk. I didn't know you were friends with them. Okay.
Well, it's weird because at the end of the day, it's all networking, right? So. Right. One mutual friend leads to the other. They all work at the same hospitality, and everyone has a love for watches, right? And I have to big up Catch Steak. I'm there all the time.
Oh, you go there a lot?
Correct.
Oh, cool.
And it's just one of those places, right? You get familiarity with and you feel comfortable bringing your friends there. Right. Sitting down at a table, that you're taken care of. You don't have to wait so long. Right. Those are the type of things. Even big shout out to Tao Group. Andrew has always accommodating to me, and I just never knew anyone who answers their emails as quickly as he does. You know, it's those are things like that. You know, at the end of the day, it's tough because I'm so comfortable, I don't get to explore so much.
Right.
That
you like going where you know.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone knows that, you know, Rob will be seen at Tao Downtown at one night or another having dinner. You know, just because it's comfortable.
Right.
You know,
Tao Downtown's still doing well. Tao Downtown meatpacking.
You know, it's weird.
I haven't been in a while.
I haven't been in a while.
Okay.
I did stop by Casadona when they first opened.
Yeah.
And then they're doing that with Grutman, correct?
Yeah, they partner with Grutman, right?
So yeah, and it was a nice vibe.
Right.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Cool on the water.
Cool on the water. Yeah. It's perfect for this area. It's, you know, the parking. You know, you could just literally drive up.
Right.
And the food was great. Service was on point. You know, and it was a last minute reservation. We we had friends in town. Apparently they were going there, so we ended up, you know, adding on,
cool.
and it worked out perfectly. You know, food was good. You know, you've been there.
I've been to Costa.
Yeah.
I haven't actually had a meal there. I went for like drinks. And
But the
appetizers.
vibe, it has that
table. Yeah, we got a table right by the water. I had drinks and appetizers. My parents and my aunt when she was here from India, and it was a cool vibe. But sitting on the bay there,
it was perfect.
Yeah.
You know, and that's exactly what you want, and it's not crazy like South Beach or North Beach.
Right.
It's just enough. You know?
That's also why I chose. I mean, you know, that's Edgewater, which is right by us, and Midtown, which is also, you've seen my place. I mean, that's why I chose this area to live in, because you're close to the airport, Brickell, the beach, but you're not in the craziness of it all.
Correct. Yeah. I've started to realize that. Still feel like a little too much for me.
Miami, yeah.
I mean, come to Delray, you'll see how the difference is.
Yeah. No, and I always say, I see myself at some point. I can see myself maybe moving back north at some point in the future.
One thing I did notice though is Miami has such a Latin influence, right? Delray doesn't have that.
Right.
You know, you have the better Latin cuisines and the people. You know, it's you don't even have to you don't have to speak English. You
right.
can just
there's a lot of people don't speak English.
You don't have to. You know, it's actually Spanish is the number one language.
Yeah.
So
cool. So now, before we get back to, I want to wrap up with some business tips. But before we get into that, let's talk. We talked about, we're both very similar age.
It's so funny because we have actually not even. Here I go again, right? We're here to talk about business.
No, we're here to talk New York, Miami stuff, and of course business. But it's cool. No, I think we're doing well, and we have a few more minutes. So before I want to end with the business stuff and how people can get in touch with you and your team. But before we get into that, we're very similar age, both born. I think, you know, we won't say our date. Well, you said your age already. Yeah.
I'm 45.
Exactly. So I'm turning 45 next month.
Yeah, it's.
So you remember? Let's talk a little bit on Knicks Heat.
Oh, okay.
What are your? I mean, I have memories of sitting in my apartment in college and Allen Houston and Pat Riley and all that stuff, and you know.
We can actually talk about this, right? So weirdly enough, that was the time we grew up, right? And I think the Knicks rivalry with Miami first started when Pat Riley, I think he was in negotiation terms to extend his contract with the Knicks
after they had lost in the finals.
Correct.
Lost to the Bulls, basically.
Correct. Right. And didn't get the extension.
Right.
Ended up getting a deal over in Miami.
Well,
so that's how I feel it really started.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
I guess before that.
This is 25 years ago, so we're still trying to remember.
Before Pat Riley left, I don't know if there was much. They might have had a little bit, but it definitely heated up when he left. And I know one thing was that he wanted ownership. And because the Knicks were owned by MSG, James Dolan Cablevision at that time.
And which I believe he got that in Miami. Right? So he pretty much created, once he signed on with Miami, he pretty much created his Knicks team, right?
Yeah.
He added P.J. Brown, Alonzo Mourning, right? Alonzo Mourning, Patrick Ewing, right? P.J. Brown, Charles Oakley, right?
I never thought about that. You're right.
So if you think of the ones that Tim Hardaway, right? John Starks, right? He added all these people, this great roster, created his Knicks in a sense, if you think about it, right? But I'll tell you, New York is definitely better than Miami because during that time frame, they ended up, I believe, winning 3 of the postseason rivalries out of 4.
Well, Miami got the championship.
Correct.
Yeah, and New York got the series, but Miami got the championships, right? So.
Correct. Right. But I remember in '99, right, when the Knicks added on, I think, Latrell Sprewell.
Oh, yep.
Right?
And Allen Houston.
And Allen,
Yeah.
well, Allen, I think, came on like a year before.
Yeah, and then Sprewell later, right?
But Michael Jordan just retired, right? So that was when the Knicks decided to go all the way to the finals and then lose to the Spurs, right? So,
and that shortened season, it was a strike season.
Correct. Yeah.
And they were the 8th. The Knicks at 8 seed beat Miami, the number 1 seed. Although people discounted that because it was a short season. I think Miami was the one and Knicks were 8.
Yes.
And then the Knicks made it all the way to the finals.
They made it all the way to the finals. Yes.
I have very good memories of '94 when they interrupted the finals game with the O.J. Simpson chase. They literally like stopped showing the game and start showing that
correct
chase.
Yeah. Wow, I just remember the lockout. The lockout. It's funny. It's funny because I only know sports within that time frame. You can ask me anything about that time frame.
Right.
That's it. You know.
Do you follow Jets Dolphins at all or baseball? I don't. Yeah, I don't really follow. I mean, I'm a Giants fan. Getting a little bit more into the Dolphins down here, but yeah, I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not too big into Yankees, Marlins, Mets, Marlins. I know there's all this. I'm just throwing it out there in case you.
I actually have a meme that I posted years ago because everyone loves Sunday football, right? So I posted up a meme of me facing a wall, right, and literally facing a blank wall, like enjoying Sunday football, facing a wall.
Like not even watching the game.
Not even watching. I know nothing. Weirdly, it's sad, but I know nothing about football. You
don't do fantasy or anything like that?
Nope. No, don't do none of that.
You're mainly an NBA fan?
Basketball, baseball.
Nice. Yankees or Mets or Marlins?
You want to talk about Yankees? Yeah, we can talk about Yankees.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I think this season's looking good so far.
I have no idea. I wish I could tell you.
I think they're like looking toward. I mean, the season's ending soon. The playoffs will start. I think it's looking like the Yankees and Mets both have shots at the playoffs this year. So.
I think so.
Yeah.
But if anything from '89 to '96 Yankees or
like
'80s
Yankees, he was my favorite.
We can talk about that. Yeah. But what else has got going on?
No, we can start to wrap it up. Just before we do, we want to when it comes to
let's business
tips on moving down. We talked about the different areas personally. From moving your business down, any other business tips in terms of expanding to another state or moving it down, stuff like that?
What I realized, all right, so for this I've had my business in New York since 2015. It's primarily been there. The expansion kind of, listen, it's all about organization to me, right? Keeping your stuff organized and coming down here. That was probably the hardest in the beginning. I tend to be more of a control freak. I like to be hands-on with everything. And by expanding here, I felt like I was losing touch with what was going on in New York. But in reality, you kind of have to let everyone have their own legs and grow. Listen, you can't do this by yourself, right? And the expansion it's been great. Listen, you're always going to have setbacks. I mean, that's the life of an entrepreneur, right? It's always up and down, But you wake up in the morning, give it your all, and then and just remain focused, right? Be consistent with your brand. Communication. Sometimes it's hard to communicate. Even with us, right? It's hard to make sure to keep our appointments.
Right.
Keep the appointments. Yes, run a little late. It's fine, but just make sure you show up. Right? Showing up is half the battle. I have a good friend. He goes, listen, I've reached out to every single person regarding certain watches, but you're prompt. You're always there. You respond to my texts. You respond to my phone calls. That's really half the battle. We have all this access to all this communication. Instagram. You can reach us out on Instagram, on our Instagram at Wrist NYC.
So please tell us slowly the exact best ways to contact you and your team so we get that on camera. And I'm sure if people, even if they have, even if they just have questions about a watch or engagement ring, you don't mind doing a consultation, right?
You know what's funny? I build more relationships with people who just want to talk about watches.
Right.
My girlfriend said, "Oh, you're on the phone again?" Yes, I'm talking about watches. It's always about watches.
Looking for us, right?
But it's true, right? And it's just the accessibility, right? WhatsApp, for international clients, right? My number is 917-301-7168. That's the main number, but we also have an office line, which weirdly enough, I don't know it, but it's there.
Most people get you on the cell, WhatsApp, text, right?
Correct. Or,
Instagram,
or they'll reach the office. They'll reach out to Erica, who runs our office, and she's great. It's you have Instagram, you have It's weird. I haven't really got into TikTok, which I've noticed a lot of jewelers have.
Right.
Got into
Accountants too. Yeah.
correct. It seems to be the
I know, you'd never think that would be such a business tool, right? But
it is. Even looking for restaurants or things like that, you can go, put it onto TikTok. It's something that I actually would like to consider and move forward with. But right now we're on Instagram, Facebook, all the other stuff. But
cool.
just drop the
Everything's
phone
under
call.
Wrist NYC.
Everything's under
Cool.
Wrist
Nice.
NYC.
Cool. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Just one, since my next recording is probably going to be with how we met, Mike Lover.
Yes.
Just want to mention a little bit how you know him, and we'll close with that.
Mike is a great guy. We met actually during COVID. I happened to be on one of his yachts.
Oh, cool.
We did an event. My good friend of mine, Chris, did an event on his boat. And, it's like-minded individuals, right? Mike is great like that. Same energy as me, loves people, loves to be in the action. And most importantly, he happens to be in an industry where it's kind of works with mine, right?
Targeting
He's
the affluent
correct.
customer, luxury.
He works with yachts.
Right.
I work with watches.
Right.
It just from day one he's always been great. We even going to his lounge for his for some of his yacht sales.
Right, we met at one
meetings.
of his events.
Oh yeah, that's where we met. Yeah. So I love Mike. He's always referred me even to his family members. He's such
Right, nice. Cool.
So
He's also originally from Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna.
He's another one. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
That's
That's
what-
why he's
yeah.
coming in next
He's coming
week.
in next. He wants to, of course, do it. I had a feeling he'd want to do it on the boat. So I don't know if we're gonna have the same quality in video sound, but we're gonna try to do it on the boat.
Of
So
course.
So I'll let you know when we do it. Maybe you'll join us. So it'll
Yeah,
be fun.
I love Mike. Even when it was my birthday, he actually let.
Oh, nice.
I was on one of his
That's
boats
awesome.
for my birthday, and it's just listen. Mike is great. He's looped my company in with his, at many of his events.
Oh, nice.
And
Beautiful.
weirdly enough, on the back of my shirt, on this one,
Oh, look
happens,
at that. Wrist NYC and Lupo Yachts. Love it.
happens
Awesome.
to be
Nice.
that both of them are on this one.
Cool.
So we were actually
You're gonna
supposed
have
to
to hook me up with one of those.
yeah, I got you.
All right,
So-
cool. Thanks so much for coming on. It's been great, and we'll definitely have you again soon at some point. It'll be cool.
Cool.
But anything else you want to say before we sign off?
I think we're good. Let's go grab something to eat.
Let's do it. Let's get lunch. Let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you.